who you are, and like, it's just such an incredible, I knew it was an incredible community. I could already feel that when I first met you all, thanks to Susanna. And I'm just so pumped to help you. You know, when I thought of six figures in 6 months, coming from a mindset coach, you know, I wanted to share with you some initial thoughts of what might be like what's holding you back and how to unblock those like areas that you might be feeling stuck. If you're new to me, I am a celebrity mindset coach. I'm originally from New Jersey. I'm 48 years old. I've got three boys, 19, 17, 13. I've been with my husband since we were 19 and 20. We've built an incredibly beautiful life. And I fully believe that you are a celebrity, like that it is time to break out in your inner rock star, that you have to pat yourself on the back. You could be in many different places right now, and we don't celebrate ourselves enough. And you can celebrate the ups, downs, and all arounds that got you here, so you can really catapult yourself to the next level, especially in your sales, especially in your growth, and then reflect that in your outer reality so you create a magnificent life. That is what I'm about. I coach, you know, all different people from all over the planet. And I'm really excited to be here because my intent is if I can help you get unblocked or unstuck, I want to answer questions and all, have fun with you and make it very interactive. If I can help you get unstuck and help a few of you like launch even faster or accelerate yourself there, that's what I'm here for. So initially, when Susanna like told me about the six figures in 6 months, I was like, well, for some people, that time constraint sounds exciting. And for some people, it will create an immediate like resistance because you're like, can I do that? Do I have what it takes? You know, can she did it or he did it, but can I do it? So I wanted to share with you some immediate like blocks and ways to shift around it, then completely open the floor and answer questions. So that was, I wrote down some things to prep for this. And, you know, it's about creating certainty. Certainty wins all the time, people. Certainty wins. And the only thing that's certain is uncertainty. So if you can create certainty for yourself in the uncertainty of your dreams, of your abilities, of your things, that is my specialty, to help you get there. So you bust through with self-esteem, self-confidence, a belief inside yourself that you are meant to be a six figure, 6 months, or even less. Could you do it in 6 weeks? Like, could you do it in 3 months? Like, what if you could stretch it in the other dimension? Because your brain's already like, what if it takes me 6 years? Right? Like your brain's already probably going in all different directions in the face of uncertainty. So one of the key things when I'm training people in, you know, my 6-week course is your brain at all times needs a target or it will continuously recreate old ones. So in the face of uncertainty, your brain is like, give me a reference point. I need a reference point. And it's going to likely pull one from fear because it's probably what's been practiced. Like, remember that time you tried that and you failed? Remember this and remember that. So in uncertainty, I want you to remember this. So in this time resistance or time excitement, what is your relationship with time? I have a whole course on this because I realized years ago, I felt like I didn't have enough time. I was like, let me tell you my to-do list. I'm launching 3 businesses. I got 3 kids. Like, and if you feel like you're always rattling off your to-do list, you may find that like feeling like you don't have enough time or like that you're under the gun of time in terms of a 6-month period, and that creates resistance. That's your ding, ding, ding moment. Just bring out my little ding, ding, ding bell of awareness that you need to create a new relationship with time. That time is your best friend. It's an abundant resource. Even though we all have the same 24 hours in a day, we all might have very different hectic schedules, busyness, but that what is in front of you in terms of an opportunity, it sounds like, is there for a reason. And you wouldn't be exactly where you are in this moment with an incredible opportunity that you're, you know, a part of, if it was not somehow meant for you. So if with this whole time constraint thing, one of the things I was thinking of when I was thinking of talking to you tonight, I was like, well, again, 6 months for some people is going to be like, let me get after it. I believe in myself. I have that confidence. Like, I can't wait to crush this. And that's because you are in the uncertainty of it, feeling the excitement. Excitement in the uncertainty is the positive lens of the flipped version where many people go into lack of themselves, not enough, feeling like not enough time, not enough confidence, where you suddenly feel like instead of excitement in the unknown, you're feeling the fear of the unknown. So what I'm sharing with you in this first moment is, in uncertainty, my brain needs a target, or it will continuously recreate old ones. And if you're in my course, you've already worked on this with me, where you do like the flip it at a deep level. You learn the happiness stuff, you learn all of these pieces. So you literally start to mentally rehearse your success within the 6-month period, and you give your brain a very clear target to be working towards, because science has proven that our brains don't know the difference between real and imaginary. So if it's going to be pulling from a moment like where you failed and been like, well, remember this time, what if you fail? Then you got to really double down on, what am I giving more attention as I'm feeling this resistance about time? Am I giving the problem my attention, or my dream my attention? My attention can only be going up into the dream or down into the problem. So these are really key components that, if that's you and in uncertainty, you are feeling like, but I'm scared of this unknown time frame, then that should be your first ding, 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 aha moment with me right here as your mindset coach, that you need to crystallize your vision. Like, what are you doing with this money? It's not just the money. What are you doing with this money? How are you spending it, the 6 figures in 6 months? Like, what is it going towards specifically? See it going into your bank account. Like, see yourself paying off bills or debt, or like getting that plane ticket to go see your mom, or what is it? What is it? And like, the money is just the bridge to what you actually desire. And if you keep focusing on the money, well, that's a whole other course of money blocks, because if you're just focusing on the money and not seeing it as a bridge to the outcome that you desire, that also might kind of block you up, because you may have resistance, not just with the time, but you might have resistance with the money. So I'm happy to answer all of these questions as we go along. So just as I'm talking and you have a question, just write it down on a piece of paper, and then we'll do a hand raise in a little bit. And I cannot wait to start answering your question. So that's tip number 1, is my dream of 6 figures in 6 months crystal clear? Like, down to the car I'm driving, the shirt I'm wearing at the celebratory dinner, like, is it clear? And if it's not clear, get it clear. Okay, and if you're not sure, I mean, I'll teach you the blueprints on how to make a vision a reality. How do you go from dream to step into a vision so you become that version of you, and all of this stuff, obviously, like I teach. So but that's a first ding, ding, ding moment of, get my vision clear, crystal clear, clearer than my problems. That's number 1. Okay, the next thing is, can I do it? Like, what if I can't? Right? So facing your own fears of disappointment, fear of failure, to uncover the confidence underneath the fear. All fears are showing you what's meaningful to your heart. So if you're scared of something, it's kind of like when I'm working with a pro athlete, or like, as I prep some folks for Olympics for 2024, it's like, well, if you're scared of it, it's because it's showing you something inside of it is meaningful to you. Something inside here is literally meaningful to your heart. You want to like really crush this because you want to live a certain lifestyle, and that's meaningful to you. So the can I do it is, if you have been following along at all in any of my courses and classes, like, or the House of Manifesting stuff, you're clearly on the floor of doubt. If you were in my House of Manifesting, and you're manifesting from doubt inside your own self, can I do it? Is this path for me? What if it's like last time? Versus seeing like the opposite of doubt, which is trust, that every stepping stone has gotten you right here inside this community, inside this content, right inside of this moment. And if you don't trust in that process, that the negatives and positives got you here, you'll have a really hard time accepting yourself right now. And if you're not accepting yourself right now, you are rejecting yourself right now. And if you're rejecting yourself right now, I can tell you, you're going to receive rejection. Okay. Am I rejecting myself? And do I not believe in myself? Well, you are going to receive the physical reality of that mindset. You will likely be an attractor of rejection. So be very mindful in the second step that I wanted to share with you, that you need to really unpack. When you do my lessons 1 and 2, it's unstuck your blocks. How do you unpack what's blocking my confidence? Because confidence is just blocking your potential. I mean, like the what's blocking the confidence, I'm sorry, which is the fear of the disappointment, the fear and doubt of yourself, the feeling of the lack, is blocking your potential. So as soon as you unblock the block, you realize your potential, which is kind of nice to know. So just know that, like, where is it? Do I have to like really build it? Sure, there's a process of learning how to boost your own confidence. It's what I teach. My company is Strong Confident Living. I mean, I teach you through the strength of your own self-love and self-esteem how to boost your own confidence. Very different than arrogance, very different from the need to prove yourself to anyone. It is literally just, I believe in me. I believe in me. I'm meant for this. If it's in front of me, I am meant for this. I am meant for this opportunity. I am meant for 6 figures. I am worthy. I am deserving. I am confident. And if I don't know the answers, like, so this is my definition of confidence. My definition of confidence and how I teach it inside my curriculum is not needing to know all the answers, but believing in the positive outcome anyway. Arrogance is like, I know everything. Let me show you so I could prove it to you. I come in as a very different, even when I build my content and curriculum, I'm coming at it from an extremely loving place that you're not lacking. Like, you're not lacking. You are whole and complete. Sure, maybe you had certain things in your past that broke you into pieces or betrayed you, so you have a difficult time trusting or bringing this full version of you to a call or to a meeting or to whatever. But that you are whole and complete, and you got to remind yourself that if you're not feeling that, it's just being blocked. So as your coach, I just help you unblock those things, and it's a really fun process for me because it helps you get happier, it helps you radiate positivity, it helps you get more self-esteem and self-confidence, and that has a direct impact on your business. Okay, because how you carry yourself mentally and emotionally and hold the vision from step 1 that I gave you that's crystal clear, you will navigate and accelerate yourself there faster. And this is a proven blueprint. I've done it with companies. I've done it with huge, like Fortune, whatever companies, Fortune 10 companies. I've helped companies get to $1 billion. And it's like the same blueprint that'll help a celebrity get to millions of people. It is literally the same blueprint of like, how do you just up spiral, like, instead of down spiral? How can you tap into the better than expected, the amazing but not surprising? What if it could turn out even better than even what you're even thinking? But is that clear? So the lack of confidence piece is likely, I'm just going to ding ding moment this to just get to this for you, is it's probably tied to a past reference point. And if you heard me in the beginning, your brain needs a new reference point when it hits uncertainty, or it's going to pull ones and recreate ones from your past. And if they're negative, your brain wants to problem solve it, find it, and remind you of it, because it's your brain's job. It is your brain's job to be like, we still need to solve this. So when you're working with me, I do something really unique. As your mindset coach, I literally train your brain to trick it, basically, that those old problems, they've been solved. And I do it by teaching you how to trust again. But maybe when you can't trust in this person or that thing or this blueprint or that experience, that you learn to trust inside yourself. And that is a huge asset that will carry you through life differently. You will be a different parent. You will be a different spouse. You will be a different friend. You will be a different at business when you walk through life powerful, happy, confident, and trusting that even if you can't trust external circumstances, you can trust your inner radar that something's off here. That's not for me. That is in alignment. That's not in alignment. And you literally become a decision-making boss with that level of confidence and trust. So to me, it's starting, when I teach it to you, I first teach happiness as a method to get to confidence, as a method to get to trust. And I have a whole series that I bring you through, because if you're not even happy, that's a whole other issue, which is one of my next things. So let's just go there. So first point was like, just like, are you feeling resistance with the time crunch of 6 months, 6 figures? And just I wanted to add one more thing about that. I have friends here that like love to run marathons. They love to like plan and have milestones. They love to create their meal plans and like figure out when they're going to run. And they like love to follow blueprints and plans. I'm a blueprint checklist kind of person, but the idea of running a marathon is not for me. Okay. So sometimes you just also have to know what kind of learner you are. And that's why when I build things, and I highly recommend, there's a whole community of people here, there's many ways to get to the goals that you're seeking. There's many ways. And just if someone's telling you, but it has to be this way, and you're feeling off about that, you're like, well, I'm not ready to do this or that. Like, you're not, listen to yourself again. Listen to yourself. Be in integrity and honest with what feels good to you, and you'll always be on track. Plus, you'll build your self-esteem. Okay, so the time resistance thing is interesting for me because again, what I'd rather you go to, what if I could get there faster? I would train you on that. Like how can you do that even faster than 6 months? So that was step one. Step two is boosting confidence and taking a look at, well, what's blocking my confidence? What are some old reference points? So when I'm feeling uncertainty, that I get reminded of some like negative events where I didn't make it happen, right? What did I learn from those events? If you can glean some learning nuggets, you will completely shift yourself. Okay, you will completely shift yourself. So the third thing I wanted to bring up is excuses. Like, I can't because blank. Okay, that used to be me. So the third nugget is I can't because. Okay. You guys think of it. Where do I have excuses to nip? I can't because I don't have enough time. I can't because I have this thing going, and I'm not saying those excuses aren't valid. I can't because I'm taking care of my mom, like she's sick. I can't because, but be open and honest with your excuses so they can turn into basically like your reasons to catapult and find a reason why that you want to get to this goal, kind of in honor of that excuse. Because sometimes those excuses are filled with people you love, right? Like, I can't, I'm busy with my 3 kids. I can't, like, I'm doing this. I can't possibly, I don't have enough time for this or that. And I have this thing where I teach you guys, I have a no excuses course. And in that course, I train you on how to turn the but, like, I would love to da 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 da, but, and then the excuse happens. And then you add a so. SO. Okay. I can't da 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 because I would love to blank. That shows your intention. I would love to be part of all this da 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 business stuff, but blank. And then you see your excuse. But then if you look at your excuse and you know you don't want to hold it back, I want you, oh good, you just did that course, Mickey, good. You change it to a so. And the so is like, so I'm going to do this. And the so puts it back into action. And I have a whole like training on turning excuses into action that again shifts your whole powerless to empowered to powerful. And that's where you've got to be if you want to crush 6 figures in 6 months or less. Is there's no excuses. This is where I'm going. It's a fact. And then you got to line up to that identity of who are you that lives this version of this lifestyle. Because if you're not that identity now, you're not attracting all the pieces that are going to get you there even faster. You're probably weaving in a whole lot of resistance. So these are some of the resistance pieces that came up for me when I was just sitting thinking about it. The I'll be happy when problem. Okay. A lot of you are putting happiness as conditional. Here, I'll drop the link of my training. Some of you are asking. I don't really do that much private coaching. And I love to talk to groups like this. So it's pretty amazing. I do private group coaching because I love this collective energy. So there's that link. That's my 6-week course. I'll be happy when. So I just did this lesson. It's this week's lesson on happiness. It's one of the most profoundly simple but deep ways to get to your purpose and accelerate your career faster. Okay. And when I teach people this lesson as the means to being the happy version of you before you have the 6 figures in 6 months, like be that happier version first, you will, and you do that full lesson, it's an hour. So but the premise is how to have happiness before you have it all. So you attract those pieces faster because you start to line up to the identity of you that's not waiting. When you're waiting and you're like, well, if I had these 3 sales, or if I had this client do this, then I'll be happy. Like, then I'll feel my self-worth. Then I'll be proud of myself. If it's an if then, it's conditional. And as soon as you make something conditional, love is not conditional. So as soon as you make something conditional, it's like weaving in some fear and you are blocking it versus like allowing it to be received. So I just want you to know that that's a big one of happiness is so related to your purpose. It's so like you could feel my happiness coming on. I love doing this stuff. I love sharing these nuggets and tips. I love seeing like people pile into this Zoom and I'm like, oh, if I could just help, a few of you like blast off, like I've done my job. Right. And then if a few of you want to hop into my coaching, like a bunch of you have already, amazing. But like that's good. Like I get so much out of also sharing like what I've learned over the course of decades with the world that like I get something out of this too, which is excitement in answering your questions and all the other stuff that we're about to do in a few minutes. And it's just, I'll be happy. The reason I'm sharing that is because happiness, when shared, is a multiplier. And when you bring that into your business, like I'm the happy version of Laura St. John, wherever I go, like this is me. Okay. If I'm unhappy, I do nothing. Like I literally stop because I know the happy version of me is in flow. It's calm. It's neutral. It's the powerful version of me that's relaxed. Many of you are like, well, I can't be relaxed and I can't become calm until this. And again, you're making it conditional versus being like, well, I am under a lot of stress or I have these challenges in my life and I still want to access the happiness that's in my heart. Because I know when I show up happy and I'm on video or I go to a call or I'm sending an email, that happiness oozes in, people. It oozes in. People can feel it. People can basically feel whether you're smiling on a phone call. Like they could tell whether you're happy when you walk in a room. They could totally tell you, like you can even add some exclamation points and all kinds of things to an email and you can tell whether someone's basically happy when they're sending that. So make sure you are not putting your happiness on hold for when you reach certain milestones, as if you like, then you'll deserve it or you will be holding yourself back. Okay. So it's a big piece and it's a huge piece that I teach. I have some of my deepest lessons that I work on with people on happiness because I coach gabillionaires and I coach homeless people. I coach kids and I coach adults. Like I coach, and it's like there's one underlying thing, if I could 100% share with you, that happiness, your happiness, the version of you that's just happy, not excited. I'm excited right now to be here, but the version of you that's just calm, happy, may have been so not practiced lately, right? Maybe you practice grumpy, maybe you practice complaining, maybe you practice, something else. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're totally practicing happy. Good. If you are not practicing happy, like your life depends on it, like you probably have a lot of things that are stuck and frustrating. And I want to offer you a ton of relief because you can, like in this week's lesson, we're working on a happy list. And when you learn to access, and I call it snacking on happy, where you chomp on joy before you go into a meeting, before you send that email, before anything else, happiness before you have the physical things, and you elevate yourself just to that calm, neutral place, then you will accelerate your way there faster. And I've actually proven it, and over again, over and over and over again. And I'll never forget when Google first hired me, because I have no degree in this stuff. I've been doing this intuitively since I was 6 years old. So I've kind of been doing this for 42 years now. It just breathes right out of me. I know what I'm meant to do on this planet. And when Google found me after I was on Selling Sunset on Netflix, I was like, how did you find me? And it was like someone from their HR team was looking for a guest speaker to do their vision casting. They flew me up to Napa. I was having this like dinner with this lady, Anna, who's founded, like she designed Google search, this like badass lady who's this amazing programmer. And I was like, how did you find me? And she was like, well, we found your social media and we were looking to hire like a happiness coach, and you're actually just as happy online as you are like, in real life. Like you are happy. Like you are, and that's, I was like, I hung up and I never thought like it would really like at that time be like what was the driving reason of like receiving business. And I called my mom and I'm like, I just got hired by Google, and then they brought me on for a whole year to bring happiness like into their workplace. Mom, I got hired not because some college degree, not because of something, like not because of any credential or piece of paper from anything outside of me, but from internally because I'm happy. And I'm sharing this with you because happiness is so contagious. And it led to a lot of amazing things. That one thing has led to a lot of different things in my life since that one thing. And it's really interesting, happiness. So I had to hone in on that happiness is often blocked. I just posted on my Instagram and TikToks like some of the latest NBC Access Hollywood things that I was just on. And it was like the best interview on like, how do you get unstuck when you're feeling really powerless, when you're not getting that sale, when you're feeling less than. And I'm like, happiness, 1 to 2 seconds, 1, 2, a gentle, like noticing. Everyone just notice something right now in your room or in your space, or think of something so simple, actually intentionally small, that makes you happy, and put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Just think of something really tiny. What brings just that gentle, calm, gentle smile to your face? Okay, gentle, calm, gentle, like just think of that. Like it's a quiet, confident smile. Okay. And I want you to think of that. Think of what makes you happy. And think of that. Like that's important to think of before you make a call, before you send that email, before you do whatever you're doing, like in your process of sales. If you get happy first, you're already aligned to the version of you that has the $100,000 or $200,000, or because that version of you is going to be really happy too that you got there. So if you can align up to that version of you now, you're accelerating your way there. And it's, again, it's a series of steps that I teach. But the reason I brought up the NBC thing is because Mario Lopez asked me some really good questions about like what blocks people. And I'm like, any negative emotion, guilt, shame, self-rejection. Laura, I can't put my feet up. I always feel like I should be doing something. I feel guilty, or I feel guilty of past mistakes. I made all these left turns when I thought I should go right. Doubt. I'm constantly in doubt. I don't believe in myself. I don't believe in even maybe what you're saying right now, Laura. I'm not quite sure. Like I always need the evidence. Anger, resentment, as if like, that's so not for me, but I continue to tolerate it. So these are the things that block you and your happiness, which is your potential. So I had to hone in on happiness because already, if you just look at each other's things in the chat, and I'm going to share my TikTok because someone just said, "What's your TikTok?" Watch me there. Just go see that interview. It's really enlightening because I know I'm here for the people that are not just like crushing it and getting you to the next level. I'm here for you, but I'm also really here for those of you who are feeling very stuck, very frustrated, and a bit powerless or weak. Because when you flip that into your potential, you have the power to become unstoppable. You have the power to shift all of these negative things that maybe have been dealt to you into positives. You have the power to change the trajectory, especially if you've been dealt a very difficult set of cards. So I just want to make it clear, I'm not here to diminish anything that you're currently dealing with or you've been through. I know I'm happy and I'm like sharing a lot of content, but I want you to know that I fully believe in your potential and I want you to get there faster by flipping the negatives to positives. So that's a big one, happiness. And then identity of the version of the future you. So the next step that I wanted to quickly chat about, and then I want to open this up to live Q&A, is, so thank you for saying thank you. Just if you are going through a lot of hard, powerless like feelings right now, just know I'm here to remind you of your strength and know that happiness in 1 or 2 second increments where you're noticing like, oh, my dogs, my grandkids, my this, my that, like puts that gentle smile on my face, that creates the pathway. It opens to the light to lighten yourself up from that heaviness that's on your shoulders. So it is really important that you embrace it. Okay, next thing is creating the identity of the person who does this. You have to create the identity of the future you now. Okay, you have to create the identity, not just of where you are now and where you want to be going, but like, who are you at the point, like, well, beyond that? Okay, beyond 6 figures in 6 months, what's a normal day in the life of the future you? Because if you don't create that version beyond it, you'll just get to it. And then many people implode because they put so much effort into that one achievement that you never create the identity beyond the achievement. And you like lose the weight, gain the weight, get the money, lose the money, get the relationship, lose the relationship. There's a self-sabotaging that often happens if you don't do this step. And it's literally shifting your focus into what I've been saying from the beginning of this workshop, which is your target clear? You know, your brain needs a target or it'll keep recreating old ones. And if you don't now bring yourself to the target well beyond the 6-month period, you can get to the 6-month period and then fall apart. And that's where I really come to a lot of support, because all my coachings and teachings are to design that future version of you and then bring that version of you into today. Okay. All right. Last one is a big one. And it's, do I feel I deserve it? Do I feel greedy for wanting more? Okay. A lot of people really have thoughts in their brains from society, from growing up, that like, I'm supposed to be grateful for what I have. And I have a hard time feeling like I want more without feeling guilt. And guilt is the lowest energy. It is the heaviest. It is the most pinching off to love, trust, abundance, because you're tying it to your self-worth. Do I deserve it? And if it's one thing, all these points that I just taught you, and I will literally, like, there's actual blueprints that I'm just bringing up points that I want you to think about. And hopefully, like, I'm just having these moments, you're having some aha moments of like, oh shoot, I do that, or I have these money blocks and different things. But ultimately, it's one thing if you believe you can do it. It's a whole other thing to believe you deserve it. So that is the work that like lights up my heart, to help you identify with your self-worth, that you are worthy, you are deserving. You could be grateful for what you have, and you can create a bridge and be grateful for what you don't have yet. And gratitude creates this unbelievable bridge, because as a manifesting coach, I fully embrace that if you can be grateful for something you're praying for, or something you don't even have yet, and you can find the gratitude right now in the same way I was teaching you to find the happiness right now before you have the things. If you can find the gratitude before you have the things, it will start to erase or at least dissipate the feeling of greed. Because usually greed has a negative connotation, where I look out at nature a lot and I'm like, well, that tree is not saying like, don't give me more sunlight, I'm not worthy, like I don't want to grow. Like if you see it as your growth and expansion, if you see it as your duty to create your life and be a self-expression of this divine order of incredible, amazing, but not surprising things, challenges that can catapult you to the next level, negatives that you can, through your own power and, shift into positives, that your, like your biggest setbacks become your biggest comebacks. These are all lessons that I teach with a very step-by-step framework. And yeah, oh, in the tree, exactly. Joni, look outside and always look to, be like, well, am I blocking it? Am I blocking it? Do I not feel like I'm worthy of expanding right now into being this role model for my family, for my children, for my community, for the earth? Like, it's so important to see the rise of you and to feel it. and to know that you are worthy of receiving abundance. You are worthy of, think of the impact that you can have with additional income. Think of the lifestyle that you can lead with, or think of the person you are with when you have more relief in your life and less stress. So it's really understanding a deeper level of deserving and worthiness that I love to help you break through, because it's a huge money block. It is lack going into fear versus trust, and love going into abundance. And I love to help that. All right. So those were my little pieces of nuggets that I wanted to share with you. Make sure you keep a great relationship with time and find the positive and uncertainty, create the new reference point, boost your confidence, get rid of your excuses, stop the I'll be happy when, be happy now, design the identity of the future you, and know that you do deserve it. So those were my nuggets. That was my notes. This is just pour out of me. And if you hit your hand raise, we can answer questions. I don't know how much time you have here, but I know I talked a long time in your community last time. I would love to be like, just tell me where you're feeling stuck. Tell me what you would like to get unblocked. Where do you feel like, Laura, this is totally what's keeping me stuck, or how do I get there? Like what's running through your brain? Fran. Okay, Fran, I think you're still muted. You can just unmute on the bottom left. There you go.
Okay, thanks. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you so much for this. I have just recently resigned from my employment because they were forcing me to do basically to.
I'm just gonna stop you only because the backstory for me, it doesn't help you. So
Okay.
you could just get right to the question. That's okay. I don't mean to interrupt you. I mean it as
No.
a way to, so I don't participate in the energy of the problem.
Got it. Perfect. So I feel when I'm creating my videos, I feel like I don't know. Now I feel so much even more so as before, where I don't know who I am and where and how to be able to talk to my ideal person or even know who that person is, I guess.
Okay. So I would always suggest starting it when you're not sure, start with the old you, because you can identify with the you of like a few months ago or a few years ago and speak to that version of you. It'll feel very authentic to your heart, because what you're getting stuck in is, like for me, when I really think about my path, like I originally found my very first market in
Mhm.
being like overwhelmed moms who like had little kids, and now my kids are older, but like super stressed, always overwhelmed, didn't have enough time, like, like lack. And I was like, I need to be strong and confident. I need to start this company. I need to, and I started creating everything. My point is that I could very easily initially speak to the people of the me of a few months ago. So I would start there, because in trying to figure out, well, what does the audience want to hear and which version of me do I want? Like, do they want, you're not finding that authentic place in your own heart to speak from.
Right.
Sounds like, right? And
Mhm.
first you have to know yourself. And that's what I'm saying. You know your old self. You know your old problems. Like, I was sick and tired, founded this amazing
Yes.
opportunity, Like, well, you know what you were sick and tired of. You could probably speak to it really well.
Right.
Go there. I have
Okay.
steps for you. If you're in my courses, I can point you to a few different pieces. Sorry, my emails and stuff, but
Mhm.
okay, if you're inside, go to, is fear affecting your confidence? You're literally like, there's some fears that are blocking you.
Uh-huh.
So maybe I'd do this one. Why do you stop being so hard on yourself? But there's a bunch of courses in here that you have access to if you're inside my private group, and just the money, career, purpose one will help you too. But just know that your first step is to recognize and find the old you and be like, what was the old me so sick and tired of? Why did I choose this? And now go find those people.
Okay, I'm writing this down, so it's just like,
Okay, start there. Again, I feel like I have 10 steps to give you, but I know that that's the next step. And if you're in my course, just hit me up in the ask anything area and I'll literally like drive what lessons you should do next. But that's definitely your first step.
Okay, thank you so much. I
Okay.
appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Erica and then Nadia.
There we go. Okay, hi. So this business that we're doing, I am enjoying so much better than my normal job. I haven't made a ton of sales. And I'm trying to stay as positive as I can. And you mentioned something about, you're just living in that happy energy all the time, and other people notice that about you as well. My real job is very stressful. And I don't enjoy it. I really just don't enjoy it anymore because it's so stressful. So it does bleed into this blueprint that we're pushing. And so, not seeing many sales, and I'm working so hard on this business, and I know I'm right at the cusp of just going, but I'm just wondering, how do
Can
I
I stop
not?
you? I already caught a few things.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. This is why live Q&As are so powerful. So first, every time you speak negatively, like I don't have a lot of sales, I want you to add the word yet. Okay. I don't have a lot of sales yet, but I know they're on their way. Like you got to start the words that you say, like starts the mental, like they're just the spoken words to what you're thinking in your head and then what you're going to be attracting. So if you don't want to perpetuate the negative, shift the language. That's step one. Step two is you're being faced with a challenge. So the happy version you see of Laura, this Laura St. John that is in front of you right now, took a lot of practice, right? Like this is my life's work. I've literally been but I've been knowing this since I was a little girl that I was meant to teach happiness and be the example of that. So the version of you that's like all E, it doesn't mean I don't get challenges. It just means like, okay, this is the next nugget that I had to tell you as you were explaining, but I don't like this job and it's kind of like sucking my energy. What I want you to shift it to is I'm being faced with this challenge where like it's kind of a unique like juxtaposition you're in. You're like, I see this beautiful opportunity. It fills my heart. Like I feel like I'm, again, I'm not making enough sales yet, but I know they're on their way. I know I'm meant to be doing this. There's like a knowing in my heart. I'm listening to myself. And yet I'm in an environment that I know is not meant for me. I like to know how misaligned things are. Like again, like the way I hold my happiness, that is, I'm like, that's not for me. This is so misaligned. Doesn't mean I don't have to work on a project or be, dealing with things, or ever have something that I don't love, but I feel the misalignment and then I feel the alignment in the other thing. So what you're actually being faced with is extreme clarity, and it deserves a mindset reset because here's your challenge. And once you nail this, you will literally become unstoppable. When I can find happiness in the face of adversity, in the face of this challenge, like when I can actually find happiness in the job I don't really love, I know it's misaligned, but I'm like, but I love the little drinks that we have at the water cooler, or I love on Fridays that this happens. And I love maybe the drive where I get to wind down, or I don't love if you can find moments, this is why I'm saying like this part of my course is so key, those 1 or 2 seconds here or there. And you recognize that moment where you're like, I am happy right now because I know I'm moving towards this job opportunity that I love. And I know I'm being placed here in something that's not in alignment, yet I can find happiness anyway because I'm this powerful being that can tap into my own heart, listen to it. And like, I promise you that like when you find that version of you, these things start to open up. The pathways out of that job open up. The pathways to more sales open up. Like your pathway from jumping from that 9 to 5 or whatever into this more entrepreneurial venture, like opens up in the most incredible ways. So you're actually being faced with a growth spurt where you should challenge yourself, challenge the language, challenge, again, if you're inside my group, do the lesson inside the money, career and purpose course on happiness as it relates to purpose. Because if you, again, can find that version of Erica inside the thing that feels challenging, I just can't wait for you to see it. You'll blossom in a new way, because otherwise your perspective of it is, this is my block. This is the thing holding me back. And I see it's the physical reality that's like, how am I going to get out of this? And then you continuously perpetuate the block.
Mhm.
So as soon as you
Yes.
shift around it, yeah.
So good. So good. Thank you so much. So
Those are
nice.
your
to have
next
you
two
back here.
steps. Again, I have more, but you're in my group, right?
I'm not. No, it's
Okay, please
you're
join
first
as-
on my list of
Whenever
things.
you can, just join it. Yeah, like I know you guys are, this is not a push. This is a like, I'm ready for you whenever you're ready for me. This is a pull. And that's actually a huge part that, is like, I'm for some people, not for everybody, but I do light up a lot of confidence and stuff. So whenever you're ready, I'm ready for you.
I'm
Okay.
coming. I'm coming.
Okay. Go. Okay. Okay. All right, Fran.
Good night.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Wait, did Fran go already or Nadia or?
Yeah, I went away, unless it's another
Okay, I'm
one.
gonna lower your hand then. Okay, Nadia.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, who is this, Nadia?
Yes, it is.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Well, my problem is I am not happy. And because of that, I can't create content. I'm
Yeah,
stressed and I'm depressed
Hmm.
because I cannot provide for my child.
okay. I want you, Nadia. What would be something amazing, like if you could open up and this pen like became a magic wand and you're like, Laura St. John, this would be amazing. Like what would be amazing to you?
Honestly, I don't even know.
Okay. So you're like, my heart is closed. I'm not even sure. I'm way down there.
That's correct.
Okay. What is something about your child that is so simple on an everyday that you love about your child?
I love her because I was the one who brought her in this world.
Hmm. Okay. And
So-
thank you for your courage and vulnerability, because other people in this chat are like, I know how she feels, like, or that's me. And thank you for opening up for support. When you open up like your heart for support, like you're already transmuting the negative to positive. So I just want to share with you from my heart that it takes an incredible amount of strength to be doing what you're doing and sharing it. And that is the strength that you've got to, I want you to just think of, there's nothing stronger, in my opinion, than a mom's love. Like there's just not. I have it. I have unconditional love for my kids, and there's just nothing like it. And that's the strength. There's like a mama bear energy that you almost, it might be easier if you can't go to happy yet. If you're like, one of the things I teach, like if you're down here in the basement levels, this is like, if this was a representation of a house and where you're creating from, and you're in like maybe guilt or shame, self-rejection. I hate like my circumstances. I feel so low. There's no light down here. It's just like complete rejection. I feel rejected. I can't provide, like everything's dark. I don't even know what I want. That is just telling you you're here. Okay. And it's not a congratulations, you're here, but it's an important awareness to know, like, I'm here and I don't want to be here anymore. I don't know how to get out. That's why I'm raised my hand and asking this question. Beautiful. What I actually need to help you get to, it's in the other video inside this group, is to do a flip it list of what you absolutely don't want. Because if you don't know what you do want because it's so dark down there, I'm telling you, then what's probably very clear to you is what you don't want. And you start there. You got to be like, I'm sick and tired of not being able to pay my bills. I'm so done with feeling like I'm never going to get there. I'm so frustrated with like not being able to blah, 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 blah. Like you got to get to the anger floor, quite honestly, because anger has courage like that you can transmute into like, and so this is what I want, Laura. Like I want to make sales. I want to provide. I want to feel ease. I want to feel flow. I want to like, I can't wait to get to abundance, but I want to first get to a place where I feel like I can provide. And I want you to know that you're in clearly an amazing community and we've
I
got your
know.
okay, what you like these people, like there's a tremendous amount of heart in this community. It was built on heart. I can feel it. And I want you to know that you're just down in the basement. You got to take an elevator ride up to anger and get so sick and tired of what you're done with and be 100% done with it. Like close the door, 100% done. Like I'm done with the version of me that has this. This is not what I want. And start there. Okay, start there because that will be clear. Like you're really clear on what you don't want. Watch that broadcast or do my 7-day free manifesting course. You guys, I made it free last Mother's Day. People all over the planet were manifesting such incredible things. I filmed it right after I was on that show. And then I made it free Mother's Day for just a week and people were manifesting through the roof, like even with my free content that I made it free for a reason and I kept it that way. So I have a ton of free content. It's not the full-fledged like working with me like this when you're like in my Zooms with me in my private group. That's next level, but it's at least like you can get into it immediately. You can get into it
Yeah.
immediately. And like the second lesson is the 10-minute version of the flip it list where you fold the piece of paper in half and on one side you write down all the things you totally know you do not want. 1, 2, and 3. Like the top 3 things, Laura, I know I don't want this. I'm so sick and tired of that. I'm frustrated with this. I'm done sabotaging. I'm done, right? Like all the things you're done with. It feels so good to get off your heart in the energy of courage. Courage scientifically shifts things from negative to positive. Don't feel like you're going to keep manifesting if you write it down. You're already courageous enough to write it down. Your hand's an extension to your heart. Like there's just so many lessons in that 7-day course. Just start there if you're not in my private group, but if you can join my private group, join my private group. I will literally lead you lesson by lesson through the whole thing that you need, but you're really ready, Nadia. Like you're really ready. Like be like, I am ready to embrace change. Get to the anger level because you'll get a whoosh of energy. Whereas when you're stuck in guilt, shame, and doubt, it's heavy. It's weighing on you. I feel like it's a ton of bricks. Someone that I'm coaching, a CEO of a company that had like major health challenges and different things. I can't say much more than that, but she was just dealt like a really tough set of cards. And she just messaged me this morning that she did the flip it and she did some of my tools that I've taught her privately. And she's like, I feel like when you go in and you put that X-ray vest on, you can like hardly breathe. She's like, Laura, I feel like I just like, I can take that X-ray like vest off of it. I didn't even know how heavy it was until it's now off, like thanks to your tools. And it just made my heart just go boom, because I want to show you the tools that you can do to quickly get yourself unstuck, Nadia, quickly flip, look at the negatives differently, shift your perspective of them, and create the game plan out of it. You will go from powerless to powerful. You will shift your anger into courage. And I believe you could be one of this group's like most magnificent success stories. Okay, put
thank
more
you.
of your focused energy into the shift and the change than the problems that are weighing you down.
Okay.
There's a ton of light at the end of this. For every negative, Newton's law, there's an opposite reactive positive. Where are you living? And right now you're down here, but there's a version of Nadia that's up here. Okay. Do my lesson on your 100-year-old self that's full of trust, looking back on your life, being like, those times or those years were terrible. Like no sugarcoating. They were ouch hard. But look at how we rose. Look at how I showed my child or children that like this mama can rise. Like, and that to witness having a mom that fell apart when I was 6 years old, was given 2 years to live, like is alive today and thriving with her 8 grandchildren, but she didn't believe in all the negative and all that. Like what I intuitively teach, I've been doing, like when I tell you I've been doing this since 6, I've been doing this since 6, but seeing my mom rise through the naysayers, through life or death struggles, through all this is why I do what I do. So I want you to know that your rise will be your kid's biggest gift. Don't think that it's not meant for them. For some reason, they're going to learn by watching you get dust off, get up, and go through all this. Okay?
Thank you.
Draw that line in the sand and tolerate nothing less once you decide what you do want based on what you don't want. Do that lesson. Okay?
Thanks.
Okay, we're all expecting a success story and we're holding that vision. Thank you, Nadia.
Thank you.
Got this already. Your voice already shifted. Your eyes are probably more sparkly. Put a gentle smile on your face, even if it feels like a push right now, and think of your child's smiling face and just keep going there. Okay?
I'll do that.
Okay, you're already shifting. Do you feel that confidence, everyone? She's not even
Thank
on
you.
camera. She's already ready. Do not force anything. Like you just have to build your confidence and love, and you will do it. You'll do it for your child when you can't find it to do it for yourself. So good. All right, Victoria and then Phyllis.
Hi, Laura. How are you? So I actually was living my highest best self about a year and a half ago. I had reached that point, and this was after I had gone through 2 different years of different traumas that had completely taken me out, but I rebuilt myself and I retrained my mindset. Unfortunately, I had a 3rd round just last year. And now like my whole brain is completely dismantled. Like I'm back
Okay.
down to like, that bottom with the guilt and the doubt. But I've already been up there. Like I've been where abundance and love and I've lived there, but I'm having the hardest time returning it again for the 3rd time in a row.
Okay, I am ready for change. I am ready for something good. I had something derail me, but I'm ready to get back on track. Like, so if you, I don't know, again, if you're inside my content at all, but you gotta go into the Unstuck Your Blocks content, because what's blocking you right now is like, if you do this course in this Unstuck Your Blocks, okay, what's blocking you right now is your like the setbacks to comebacks and projecting success and shining brighter, like how to face the past to move forward. Like a lot of these that you're holding on to some really tough reference points that definitely had a huge impact, but if you feel like they weren't meant for you to now grow and expand beyond them, they hold you there. Like they've like got your power, right? So now you've created a whole other set of beliefs being like, well, what if I can get there again? I've been there before, but then what if I fall down again? Right? It creates these reference points again, like I talked about in the beginning, like the set of like, well, what if to the negative? But definitely catch yourself in your language. It may have rewired your brain for a bit and like made it all like bounce all over the place or whatever.
Yeah.
But like science has
That's
come up with
exactly true.
amazing facts of, that our brains are malleable.
Our brains are so crazy. I have to mention to you this to you real quick, because you're a brain person and I like how the brain works too. But I did a non-surgical procedure. It was called TMS, transcranial magnetic stimulation, and what that did was activate the dormant neurons inside the brain and get them talking again. Like I
That's
did that
amazing.
after my first round of trauma. And then I recovered, but this time I'm like, no, so I might have to go back to that treatment.
That's amazing. Well, again, I am open to receiving all different amazing modalities to progress myself forward into this vision. I'm going to keep making my vision for the future bigger and brighter than the problems that I've had in my past. Like these are all steps that you've got to learn to continuously, like what's being fed through those neuropaths and like what's, you know, like creating those craters like a Grand Canyon. Is it doubt or is it trust? Like if you see how it becomes part of your success story, if you can reframe it from your future you today, you know, that's like really what you've got to work on, where there's a version of you that's so far beyond whatever happened in the last year or two. That version of you exists. Your brain knows on a linear path that version of you can exist and like really crush it beyond and come back again with the you have to develop your comeback story before you have your comeback story sometimes.
I get
That's
that.
like the art of manifesting to me. It's like, how do I create a new result and then be like, then I let the paths unfold. Like, what do you desire? And then you found that amazing, you know, maybe healing thing. Like, it's like, what do I desire? I desire 6 figures in 6 months. I desire to like crush my business. I desire da da da. What do you desire? And then are you open to the pathways or are you closing the pathways because your thoughts, your emotional power, you know, different things are misaligned.
Right, right.
So if you do that Unstuck Your Blocks course, if you're in the group, like you will start to see where your misalignments are. And then I get to this amazing exercise in like week 5 of, you know, just teaching you how to see where you're misaligned. But just very much start, first of all, it's my favorite color, purple, and you're like bright and shiny, and just your energy alone does not carry the energy of your old story at all. Like if you didn't tell me it, I'd have no idea. So that's your work, like you're carrying it. But when you flip it all to strength, like it'll be all strength even in your own brain, you know? So
Thank you. I've been told that before, and I'm trying to match my brain with my physical energy, you know. I'm trying to align it all again.
If you knew without a shadow of a doubt that you were going to make it. Thank you, Rosie and Stephanie, for joining the group, by the way. I just saw that pop up on my phone. If you knew without a shadow of a doubt that your path to your success story was this, and that loop was like the first like mishap, and then this loop was the second one, but it still got you there, and you were like right here, right now, coming out of that loop, and like, wow, Laura, that was a doozy. If you knew that that was like faster than the one like that was longer, but it required 2 negative bumps, but it would, that second bump catapulted you there because it taught you the skill set or whatever perseverance or whatever you needed to learn in order to get there even faster to this result, you'd probably take the one with the bumps. You've probably learned a lot of things through the bumps.
For sure. I'm a fast learner.
Then
I
you'll
sure
get
have.
Usually the ones with the bumps is the fastest path. So when you hit a bump, don't think the bump is wrong. The bump was perfectly placed there. So you learn the lesson, you expand beyond it, and you get there faster.
Ride the wave, go with the flow.
Yeah, and know what's for you and not for you. Sometimes that bump is learning to speak your truth. Sometimes that bump is learning your own power. Sometimes that bump is like learning what's for you and not for you. Like sometimes that bump is a relationship bump. Sometimes it's a financial bump. Sometimes, you know, those bumps happen in all different ways, but it's how you react through it and see beyond it. And you're like, that's what I said in the beginning, if your reference point is clear and you're like, I don't care, I'm going here. That certainty will win every time. Yeah,
Thank you
you're so ready. Again, you are ready. You're like already glowing. Just get there.
Thank you. Thank you for
white paint on it. Like when the visual pops up, like just you're like, I'm so over that story. Bench that version of you. New player is already out playing, getting like the Super Bowl. Just stop.
Thank you so much.
That's my Jersey slap. For those in the group, I'm from New Jersey and I speak from the heart, and I don't know any other way. I don't know our timing of this. I love the love for Nadia that was pushed out into this group. Are we are we okay in terms of timing? Like, are you guys good for a little bit? Like, are we supposed to end? Let me know. I know I'm going over. You're good? All right, I'll answer a couple more. All right, Phyllis. Okay, I think you're muted. And then when it says we keep going, all right, I'll try.
There we go. Hi, Laura. Wonderful to meet you finally.
Thanks, nice to meet you.
You've answered my question many times already. I was just wondering about the blocks. Like, how do you know where your block is? You
Right.
know there's a block, but it's like, how do you know?
Yeah. Okay, so that's like my first lesson in the group is how do I like shrink? How do I know my blocks? How do I look at them differently? And then how do I shrink them? And it's like a full hour. But just to give you the cliff notes, is that those blocks are usually tied to these old reference points. They are internal or they're external. And they're usually tied to an emotional feeling. So you're like, my blocks are outside of me, you know, my husband, da 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 da, or I never get like the sale, or like I'm scared da 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 da. Like your blocks are either external and or internal. I'm the block. Like I'm down on myself 24/7. I hate myself in the mirror. I'm rejecting myself. I want everyone to pick me. Like I feel a lot of doubt, like as I'm trying to make a sale, right? Or whatever. Like I'm like trying to be chosen, but maybe you're never choosing yourself, or maybe you're always at the bottom of your own list. So there's so many, but ultimately, you know, it's probably the most important part of when you start with me, because if you know what's blocking you, and you actually then get a blueprint how to see past that, over it, and then shrink it so it doesn't have the same weight on you, it's an emotional shift. So just know the external is always a reflection of the internal. That's why I'm like, well, if you're rejecting yourself, you're going to get rejection. If you're like, say, you know, if you're not choosing yourself throughout the day, people aren't going to choose you. So like,
Right.
once you know your blocks, getting past them is really an important part of the process. I mean, it's the first lesson. So it takes, again, I would love to give you more, but it's really, I encourage you guys, if this course or content is speaking to you, you know, it's even like unstuck your blocks. That's a whole set of them. But the first lesson is how to give yourself, I call it the free pass, how to give yourself a free pass so you can create the space for something magnificent to happen, not just in 6 months, but in 6 weeks' time. You know, to really shift in 6 weeks. So, but just know, again, Cliff Notes version, it's internal, it's external. Like, what's blocking me internal, my thoughts, my emotions that I'm constantly feeling, ruminating on. What are my blocks external? Is it this person? Is it this time? Is it like anything that's taking your attention away is a block. And that's what I was saying earlier. It could be very valid things. Like I got to caretake for my mom, or I got to, you know, drive, you know, I got to shuffle 5 kids around, you know, throughout the day, or whatever it is. Could be really what's blocking you from your dream. And it's a whole set of things. And then I go through this whole step-by-step process to help you identify when it started and then how to flip it. But start there. Just start by writing down internal, emotional, mental block. Okay, that's internal. Outside of me. Start there as a first step. And then if you're able to, join it.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome. Yassine. I think you have to unmute. So Yassine, you're welcome. I have to go in a few too, and I really do want to answer your question. So maybe some of you who have your hands up can also post a question to me right in the chat. If you can get it, boil it right down to the question and get it to me in the chat. Yassine, if you hear me, unmute yourself. I'll ask you to unmute.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Yes. So, you know, as the other people say, you answer a lot of questions. So I am a nurse and I'm kind of busy. And so the thing that blocks me is that time, number one. Number two is that just kind of not knowing my niches. And the bump. You told us like just go to the bump road. So I don't know. I keep choosing the wrong stuff, and I keep jumping from one to the other one.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, when you're feeling like so it sounds like, okay, keep going if you were bringing it to a question.
No, you're right. So that's the thing, because that's a question. So I keep like jumping, like I say, oh, let me choose this, let me choose that, let me. So I keep jumping from one to the other one, like no confidence.
That's
So
fine. You're just in doubt. It's not trying to push away doubt. It's a reflection of doubt. Like, I'm not sure this, and now I got the evidence of this. Now I'm going to choose this.
yes,
You know, I'm not sure about this. I see the evidence of that. Now I'm going to go this way. And you're
yes,
just bumping around, getting the turning yourself back around into, it's all a reflection of self-doubt. You don't push away self-doubt. You learn to build confidence and trust. And, you know, I was given this opportunity to teach these things and make these things teachable, because I realize these are energies and feelings of the heart. Like, how do you teach confidence? You can't just tell someone, well, be confident, right? Like, how do you turn on confidence? So I go through a series of lessons again on how to turn down doubt, like as if you're turning down the dimmer switch, and how to turn up confidence. It's a completely different skill set. They're counterparts to one another, but instead of trying to be like, I'm wrong, or now I feel guilty and shameful about it, right? Now I'm like so far down here, but now I'm angry about it. I'm like, you're really spinning in doubt. And just know, if you even do my 7-day free course, if you're not in my private group, like, all my lessons are built around how to build confidence and trust inside yourself. And you know when you're ready for my private group experience. If this interaction was helpful to you, this was in no way like my curriculum. This was just me giving you nuggets and little tips of wisdom. Like, this scratches the surface of what you learn with me, because what I've built is an actual blueprint that is really like the answers to all the things you're asking me with all the steps. So I'm trying to give you guys like the 1 or 2 first steps just to get you started, but just know that it's a series of building trust. You're always walking around. I have a lesson called the trust bucket, and you're always walking around with a bucket of doubt
Mm.
and a bucket of trust. And which one are you filling? And that trust bucket lesson that I teach is one of the most profoundly deep lessons that I teach, because it's all about where you're making trust conditional. And you're like, I don't see it. Now I don't trust, and therefore I'm going to go this way. And what you really need to learn is trust in your own self, and trust that all of these different opportunities could all lead you here, just like this. Like, you know, it doesn't even have to be a bumpy path. There might be just a really like high vibe path with maybe just a couple of like little minor speed bumps, like, whoosh, right? Like, there's just infinite paths to your dreams. And if you're only seeing 1 or 2, you are limiting yourself. If you're like, but this is the way, you are limiting yourself. If you are forcing the path or waiting for evidence of the path in order to make your decisions, you are limiting yourself, and you're going to keep yourself in fear. So, yes, let me add that link to the 7-day. I think Susanna has it. Let me see.
thank you very much. I was even about to give up. How much I was
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah,
no, this
yeah.
is like, and my job is first like so stressful too, because we are very stressful. The next day when I come, it's just okay. The only way I can do is by just working that kind of job, not the other things. So,
Yeah, I mean, I really fully like know that you're clearly ready to be done with the self-doubt, and you're really ready to, you know, trust in the process and trust in yourself more, that all of these stepping stones are leading you for what's to come. And you got to clarify your vision, because you're being very reactive versus proactive. Perfect.
yes,
Thank you, Susanna. I was like trying to grab it. So there's the 7-day free manifesting course. Do that as a minimum, everyone. Just, you could binge it in 2.5 hours or less. Like, just start there. Okay, start there. All right.
thank you.
Okay, I have 2 more minutes. Let me see I'm gonna see the questions that you posted. Okay, can you please add the link to the 7-day course that's in there now in the chat? Thank you. Not sure if I had medical issues in 2019 affecting me to move forward, because I'm going around in circles with the training, or is it self-doubt or self-sabotage or both? Which training? Let me know. Like, any training? kind of give me more. But I really think that it could be a mix. There's always variables. It's not seeking. Okay, here's a problem. Okay, when you guys are seeking why, so let me fix the why. Let me fix why it's going wrong in an effort to find the solution. You're still in the problem energy. So what you really need to do, Queenie, is do my flip it strategy of what I don't want. I don't want to be self-sabotaging. I don't want to be like spinning in self-doubt. I don't want to not be able to like go through the training, like, you know, or feel like a failure at this or that. And what I clearly desire is this. And then start building your action items, and do not do the training. Do not make a post. Do not do anything until you know you're moving from the right side of the page. And it's just, it takes 10 seconds to take a look at the right side of the page of your flip it list and take action from the energy of the person you want to become, not the old person that you're fighting or trying to leave behind. That's like all of my courses. So I hope that gives you like a little nugget, at least to start with. Amanda, okay, how do I handle people in my life who are traditional and don't understand what you're doing online? Okay, if you're in my course, do the lessons on judgment, because, you know, there might be dishes in your sink or not, and someone can walk in and be like, there's dishes in your sink. And you could either be like, yeah, like I'm gonna clean them at 10 o'clock. I clean them at 10 o'clock every night. Or you could be like, oh my God, there's dishes in my sink. Oh my God, I never leave dishes in my sink. Like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed there's dishes in my sink. My point is with that, of the side story that has nothing to do with your business, is that doubt is emanating first from you, and you're allowing them to shine the light on it, and like allowing them to, like, no one can make you feel a certain way without your consent. So like, learn to have a response that doesn't dish judgment back. I could literally do a whole workshop on judgment, but I have one of the juiciest lessons on how to handle judgment like a pro. And it's understanding whether they're insecure and just not understanding and having compassion for what you're doing and explaining it to them from a very loving place and no need to have them understand it or not. Or is it like you're feeling like you're self-doubting yourself and you're not sure how successful you are right now in this process, and you're allowing their jabs at you to shine the light and get defensive. So just when you're in a defensive position, you're perpetuating attack. You are literally a magnetic match for attack when you're being defensive. So don't get defensive, get matter of fact about it. And you got to mentally rehearse. I hope you're in my coaching, because I would point you right to that lesson. So you got to do that lesson on how to handle judgment like a pro. How to overcome being someone who is alone for most of their life, how to communicate out of an effective place. Beyond that, I love this question. A lot of people feel alone, sometimes in a crowd. Sometimes people feel lonely, even inside their own family. So lonely is a feeling before it's a thing, and then it's justified by the circumstances that you feel. You can feel a ton of not aloneness here in the hundreds of people in this amazing community. So, you know, whatever Michelle has put together here on school, and then in these Zooms and all these things, like there's a whole bunch of people that have your back. Like, be like, I clearly desire to feel love and support, and then give yourself love and support. Be the magnetic match for the person you want to match up to. Like, you got to be the example of love and support to you from you, and then reflect that out into your life. So if you are, just know again that stuck is just a feeling, unstuck is also a feeling, and you really are ready to be unstuck in that. Because I think then when you're feeling lonely and you're feeling alone, it's very easy to look out and be like, see, I don't have it, and I've never had it, so I don't know that feeling. All right, well, that feeling's just not practice. Lean into this community even more. I see people here in the chat that really have each other's backs, that are probably willing to support you in all kinds of ways. Amazing. Okay, I'm so glad that you guys are joining in. I can't wait to work with you. Are we supposed to tie in our niche life into our biz, posts and videos? It's difficult to pick just one, so many interests. Does it look schizophrenic to prospects? This has kept me inactive. Okay. Being paralyzed and indecision is still a decision. You are making a decision based on fear to be inactive. There's many of you that might need to hear that message right now. When you are paralyzed in fear and you are not taking action, it is, and then you're finding a reason. Like, I'm fearing that my audience is going to think I'm this. I'm fearing this. I'm fearing I won't get that. I'm fearing, like, you guys, I have put 50,000 hours of videos together. So yes, I'm out here on Zoom, shining all bright, practicing happy, but like, I remember those days where I first pressed like play or, record or put myself out there on the days of Periscope on Twitter, like before Facebook Live even existed. And it's scary. And there's all kinds of people that, will come and make fun of you and do all these things. I had to learn, just like you have to learn, to like build confidence through the process to get to the vision that's super duper clear. And at some point, like, again, being inactive because you're in avoidance energy is only going to magnify your problems. So if you're in my group, please let me know, because I will literally show you exactly what lessons to do first, second, and third, because you are just holding on to fear really of what other people are thinking of you. And it sounds like you guys have an amazing opportunity to share with the world. And if you do that from a really loving place without any, like, you don't care what other, like, right? Like, I could get hate thrown at me and it's just like, now it just bounces right off of me because I've built confidence. But at some point it didn't. At some point it like really felt like, and it would paralyze me. So just know you got to go through it sometimes to really shift. I remember Periscope. That's not around anymore. I'm just saying, like, I started so long ago, but I just want you to know that inaction from fear is still like tainted with a lot of fear. So it's lacing it up into all kinds of, stuff that's not helping you progress forward. And you guys, in February, and I don't know, how this gets posted, but in future months too, beyond the 6-week, I have like monthly memberships and different things. So just know to be on the lookout. Like, there's always, I see some of you being like, I'm going to join as soon as I can. So when you join, just know, like, every month I come out with like my new stuff, but it's to have access to all those incredible lessons and get my live coaching. Would you suggest that we go through the courses in order on the page? No, I would suggest, I would suggest that you guys, I mean, once you're in a course, like Unstuck Your Blocks, you can go through it in the order, but I would say do the content that speaks most to your heart, because it's a spiral-based curriculum, which means all of these courses were built in ways that all compound each other. So if you are stuck in the land of excuses, do the how to get rid of excuses. If you are like spiraling out of control and always over controlling, do the fastest way to get control of your life. If you are literally like stuck in so much fear and not taking action, do the fear affecting your confidence. But through it all, you're also going to get my 6-week blueprint, my live coachings, my member meetups, my live Q&As that are like this on a deeper level, because I can point you to the actual answers and then, teach you guys like the exact lesson. Like, many of you need the unstuck your blocks, unstuck the feelings of never enough, like a lot of these lessons that will unblock you. So, again, if I could just dump as much in a free like workshop, I would, and I'm trying to give you as many nuggets as possible, but know that I'm a teacher at heart. It's a curriculum with a lesson plan and step-by-steps with PDFs and different things. Okay. Joining us again. Amazing. Okay, great. I think I answered. I see Jennifer and R. Donnelly. I'm open to these 2 more. And if I didn't answer, you can put it in the chat. Go ahead, R. Donnelly, and then Jennifer Smith.
I'm actually Robin.
Oh, Robin, thank you.
I signed up for your 7-day free course. I'm on day 3.
Amazing.
Thank you for that. I've always been an optimist, I had to quit working in 2015. I have lupus.
Mm.
And ever since then, my husband has become a control freak.
Mm.
And he picks arguments with me. I try to be happy, and it seems like when I am happy and I'm doing well, he takes arguments just to bring me down. How do I keep him from affecting my mood and bringing me down to his level?
I hear you. Okay, sometimes our greatest challenges come through the people who love us the most or that we love the most. And when you're in this, I know this is not in the 7-day free content, this is new for 2024. You're like, Laura, I was doing all good. I'm on the happy, confident, trusting floor. And there's this elevator for him, there's this elevator for me. Like, he's down here on the angry floor.
Yeah, but he just
He just
takes
called
me
me
all
out.
the way back down.
He triggered me, and I did it. I took the elevator ride down, Laura, and I don't like it. I don't like it. He is literally calling me up from the anger floor. I went in my own elevator. I met him there, and now we're co-creating from that energy. No bueno, not positive, right? It doesn't
Correct.
create a good result. So you are learning this through a tough challenge, and all y'all have our different challenges. And like I said, sometimes they come through a parent, sometimes they come through a sibling, sometimes they come through a spouse, sometimes these lessons are often dished to us where you're like, well, if the mailman said it, I wouldn't care. But my husband's saying it and it feels like 10 daggers going into my back, right? So
Yes.
you're not alone in this issue in terms of that our challenges sometimes get brought down there. And you're definitely not alone in like, why is like my shining brighter actually making him like uncomfortable in my shiny brightness to the point now he's like trying to bring me down even to a whole other level. It is 100% in my opinion, just hearing the little bit that I heard with the lovingness in your voice and the tears, is that it's coming because you're growing and transforming. And maybe he's not at the same rapid pace that you are. And it's making him uncomfortable. It's shining a light on his own insecurities. And he just knows sometimes kids throw a temper tantrum to get our attention. Sometimes when we're older, it's like making people feel guilty to get attention. Sometimes people storm out of the room to get your attention. If you're in my content, some of my deepest lessons, like I told you earlier, are on happiness, because you holding your happiness despite his reactions, despite his slamming the door, throwing a tantrum, to get your energy and attention down to his level is really going to become your greatest superpower. How do I hold happiness when I've got this going on, right, in my life? Like, and then how do I create the space for him to rise, which is the next set of lessons. So first, you got to work on yourself and know that there's a version of you that is untriggerable. It's amazing to think of, and it's like, wow, but I promise you, there's a version of you that can mentally rehearse when I walk through the door and I'm shining bright and he does this to try to bring me down. I can hold the shiny bright thing and actually have compassion. Actually, there's like a compassion place versus a annoyed, triggered place.
Okay.
Because he's doing it. I mean, if you love each other and there's like a deeper love there, and this is just a reactive thing, I'm just telling you that it's a very clear indication that you're growing and expanding. He's uncomfortable with it. It's shining a light on insecurity. No one likes to feel insecure, and it's causing whatever reaction. Maybe he had a lot of success on his whole life. Maybe that his mom like would react to it. Maybe his sibling would react to it. Maybe his old boss would react to it. I don't even care. I don't even need to know all the circumstances to help you shift moving forward. You can shift now moving forward in all kinds of ways that are powerful to you in changing the dynamic. So you don't go down to the anger floor and meet him here. You don't go down to the guilt floor and meet people in self-pity. You don't go down. There's an energy that's like, when I am confronted with this, I hold this. And then that's the steps I want to teach you. But just know that as a first step, there's a version of you that doesn't go there. And then
Well, I think this is the first time that he's ever been the breadwinner in our relationship. I was in the technical, I worked in the technical field and he's been in construction. We've been together for 36 years. We've been together since high school.
You can literally, I love it, but you can be like, I ate green tomatoes and he had purple tomatoes. What's happening is what's happening. And I'm
Yeah.
not here to diminish it, but like, I don't even need the details to know
Well, no,
that,
and I think I
right?
was just saying that I think
No, I
that's
love,
why he
yeah.
doesn't want to, he has that control now, and I think that's why he doesn't want to give it up, because he actually, I used to have that control, and then he got it, and I think he doesn't want to give it up again, is what is my
And it
way of
might be
thinking.
that, and it might be 5 other reasons that you'll never know that are really personal to him. And it's just important to hold the space for one another. It's important right now to create a more unified vision beyond this moment. This is one of those
Okay.
bumpy moments of, but it sounds like you do have, even though it's causing you pain, a lot of compassion and a lot of love for maybe why he's experiencing it. But your work is in holding your own energy, your own mental capacity, your own like emotional like power. So you don't give him the keys of your happiness.
Okay.
And the moment you don't give the keys to anyone else, like in terms of your own happiness, even people you love, then you stop. That's why I was saying my happiness lessons are so deep, because sometimes it's not just about you being happy. It's how are you navigating someone else's unhappy? And sometimes that's really, really big. So
Okay.
I hope that helps you. And I know you're ready. And it sounds like it'll all clear out, but it'll
Thank you.
yourself on the other side of it. You already sound better.
Thank you.
Okay, I have another call and I gotta run, but yes, especially for empaths. Yeah, you can, as an empath, you can feel like you're probably like even more reactive to people's reactions, right? How often do I run 6-week group coaching? Well, come February, like, so each month I do it 4 times a year. So if you can get in right now, get in right now. But beyond this, my memberships launch and you will just be able to access the 6-week content and get in on my live coaching. So don't worry, like if you're not, this enrollment for this current 6-week actually closes the doors tomorrow night, but like then I launch into my memberships for February. So just trust the timing of things. If you're ready to take the leap, take the leap. Okay. Like get in. The sooner you get in, the sooner you're getting unblocked, the sooner you're having access to the lessons, the sooner we're having Zooms like this inside my group. And I'm pointing you with whiteboards and courses and deeper like levels of this lessons. I'm giving you snippets today, and I really hope that it helped people get unblocked. But the next one's not until like April or May live, like an official. So if you can jump in on this one, jump in on this one. It'll be 4 times a year, like live like that, where you're like getting the juicy live lessons. But you can join in on the memberships and receive, there's a 6-week blueprint on just career, money, and purpose. There's a 6-week blueprint on health, happiness, and love. There's the 6-week blueprint on these advanced manifesting, house of manifesting tools. Like once you join in, you have access to the lessons, and then you just keep getting the live coaching. So you could do it in a 6-week increment still, or you could just join the monthly membership come next month. So just don't put so much pressure on yourself, but if you want to get in now, like get in now if you can. That would be my last nudge. Like get in now if you can. I would love the opportunity to still work with you and, help you crush it in 2024 and beyond. Thank you so much, Susanna, for introducing me to this amazing community, Michelle for starting this community, and for all of you who are just here tonight. I am Laura St. John. At minimum, follow me on Instagram. I'm like Laura St. John 44 on all these different places. My Instagram got hacked and deleted, but it's back up. So you'll see like Celebrity Mindset Coach. Follow me there on Insta. Follow me on TikTok. I do a lot of lives. I obviously go live a lot. And Susanna's been really great about sharing the links and everything to join in on the 6-week. So we meet Mondays for the lessons and then Thursdays for live Q&A. I do my best to work with you on payment plan options. So if those 2 options don't work with you, hit me up. We'll always do our best to get you in. Every Mother's Day, I do a Mothers of All giveaway, big scholarship opportunity. I give away like $30,000 to $50,000 of coaching every year. So just know that like when it's your time, it's your time. But if you can invest in yourself, invest in yourself. You will not, it's priceless. So you guys are amazing. Thank you for having me. And I really appreciate the time. Yes, see you at the top, everybody. Amazing. Terrific. Bye, everyone.